Ambassador Shannon, in your remarks, you said that part of this strategy is to, quote, attack criminal gang structures. That implies someone is responsible to coordinate that effort, that it would also imply, I think, intelligence operations and criminal prosecutions. So can you give us sort of the outline of the plan, who's in charge, what intelligence assets you need, and are they reflected in this budget, or where are they coming from?
In the supplemental request, we've asked for $100 million for security, which would augment activities we're already undertaking under the Central American Regional Security Initiative. Some of that has to do with law enforcement capacity training. Some of it has to do with community policing in order to address the structure of gangs in communities and to work in communities to find alternatives to gangs, especially for at-risk youth. There is no specific money aimed at intelligence activities related to gangs, and most of the work around immigration studying, around immigration security-related issues would be done by ICE and by our CBP operations here. However, we do have intelligence activities that are focusing on that I cannot discuss in this environment, but most of the activities focused on breaking down the smuggling networks and working with the local police and local authorities would fall within the range of Homeland Security. We are, however, working through the judiciaries to enhance the judiciaries and especially to improve their ability to prosecute these cases.
Well, let me, Secretary Johnson, if Homeland Security has the responsibility for identifying, targeting the smuggling rings and disrupting those rings, do you have the resource to do that? It seems to me that what the ambassador is saying is that there's money here to go in and try to do anti-gang activities, much as we do in major urban centers in the United States, et cetera, which is important. But these children are getting here because this is a business. These are pretty hard-nosed people who are, we've got to take them put them out of business, to be blunt. And does this plan or these funds or your efforts at Homeland Security specifically go after these people?
Yeah, part of our request will go to not only working with the Central American governments on the law enforcement effort there, but our own HSI, DOJ efforts, which is something we've already begun. In the month of May, we made 163 arrests of those attached to smuggling organizations, and I'm actively working with DOJ right now to get at the money flow, the interdiction of money from the United States. And Senator, to simply underscore your point, I want to read briefly from my operations report that I got this morning, which is unclassified. HSI McAllen special agents reported the rescue of a Honduran national who was reportedly held against her will and threatened by human smugglers, and the arrest of 2 citizens of Mexico for violating the alien smuggling statute. The relative reported that the smugglers demanded $2,000 for the release of the victim. The smugglers stated to the relative that if they did not pay the money, they would decapitate the victim or sell her to a brothel cantina. So that's the kind of groups we're dealing with. And so I think it's crucial as part of this effort to not only return people, build detention capacity, but to get at these smuggling organizations. And I think we can, and I think we should.
Well, I think in terms of priority, that has to be at the same level as the humanitarian treatment of these children. And let me raise as a final question I'll raise is that in some respects, these are unavoidable costs because what we're talking about is creating a standard in which we're maintaining these young people. And we can't, for many reasons, some of our basic values as a nation allow, a facility suitable for 12 children to be inhabited by 100 children. So these costs are unavoidable. Mr. Secretary Johnson, I think what happens then, if we don't do this, you're going to have to find some monies from TSA, from cybersecurity efforts, from a host of different functions, because again, we have a problem now. We'll have a much greater problem if we are seen as basically you know, mistreating these children who are in the custody of the United States. Is that fair?
Senator, that's a very fair statement. Yes, sir.
Thank you.